Into a time where we talk about something that we've all heard before. Sometimes we're not quite sure. In fact, I used to think that, what are we saying exactly? But that's why we have these conversations then, to be able to understand. We're talking about the status of OSH in Kenya. And joining us this morning in the hot seats, Jeriah Moraa is a human capital advocate, and Vivianne Boaz is the vice chairperson of the WSPAK. She'll tell us what that is in just a minute, even as we get into this conversation. And then we're going to start to unpack all of this, OSH, and debunk that. Safety, of course, comes to mind, and health, of course, comes to mind. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But you've heard these two gentlemen talking about rice and things. Okay. Dennis is going to welcome you with today's proverb. He'll tell you where it's from, and then we'd like to hear your interpretation of the same. All right?
Yes, and we are in that country that produces Jolof Rice. We are in
Ghana.
Oh, stop it. Oh, sorry.
We are in
Nigeria.
So you love Jolof Rice from Ghana or Nigeria?
I think it's actually Senegal.
The original jollof is from the Wolof people of Senegal.
Senegal and Gambia.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, and in this country
Nigerians just added some spice to
Exactly.
It's a little bit more than just adding spice, but okay.
You know, this debate will not end, right?
Ever.
But let's talk about the music in Nigeria. You know, so we have Afrobeat. One of the originators, Fela Kuti, and he used his music to pretty much talk about good governance. You know, putting the leadership into account. But then you extrapolate that to what that did to the modern Afrobeat. So the likes of Burna Boy, you know, Wizkid and whatnot, you know. Yeah. So they have borrowed heavily from Fela Kuti and continue to do an amazing job. You come to Kenya, go to our clubs today. It's all Nigerian music. But let's go to the proverb of the day. The frog does not run in the daytime for nothing. The frog does not run in the daytime for nothing. How would you interpret that?
The frog does not run in the day for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We wake up every day. We go out there. Either you're out there to make a living, you're out there to support someone. I think that's how I would interpret it. What it means to me. Every day you leave the house, you have a purpose. It manifests in different ways. Employment, like we're here today, this is work for us. So we left the house, we're here today for work. Then we're having someone who is going out there to support someone, either in the hospital or it depends. So either you're out there because of a purpose, and that's what's driving you. So that's how I would interpret it.
Okay. And you, Moraa?
Thank you so much. My own interpretation about how or why the frog jumps out during the day. You want to look at what's the normal time for the frog to jump? Is it at night only? Why would it go out at night? Is it when it feels safe? Why would it risk going out during the day? Because now you realize that there's always something that's pushing it to go out during the day. There's always a reason behind it. And just like Vivianne said, there's always purpose, there's always a passion, there's always something you're looking out for. So it could reflect on our daily lives. We take a lot of time to go out there, work, look for earning, keep our food on our tables. So that's my own interpretation to it.
Yeah, great to hear.
Thank you.
All right. We're getting into an OSH conversation this morning, and we hear it, don't we? We, in different organizations, you hear about OSH. I'd like to start us off when we starting to get some definitions, first of all, in terms of what OSH is and what it means. But first of all, tell us, Vivianne, what is the WSPAK?
Oh, so we pronounce it as WSPAK. WSPAK stands for the Workplace Safety Professionals Association of Kenya. This is a professional body for OSH professionals in the country. Right now we have a membership of over 1,000, both male and female, from different industries.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Jeriah, when we talk about OSH, what is OSH?
Thank you so much. OSH in full is Occupational Safety and Health. When we talk about occupational safety and health, we are looking at your health at work. Yeah, the spaces you occupy every single day while you're looking for earning. So that's the simplest meaning of OSH. Yes.
Okay, and who then activates OSH at the workplace? And how can we see that it then is, present at workplaces?
Very well, thank you for that question. Who activates OSH? Occupational safety and health is a responsibility placed on employers. Is also a responsibility placed on employees in Kenya. We also have a legal framework around occupational safety and health. Like in Kenya, we have Occupational Safety and Health Act 2007, which is reinforced by the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services. Why this is important is because every day workers go to work, they face challenges, they face threats to their health in form of injuries, they face threats to their health in form of illnesses. So looking at the statistics in Kenya, people who are in employment, both informal and formal, form about 80% of the population, and these are people who depend on work to get earning, to take their kids to school, to advance or rather improve their livelihood. But there's this thing that we cannot be silent about: their safety while they are working, their health while they are working. So that's why we have responsibilities placed, for example, on the employer to ensure that even when you welcome workers to your workplace, you've made sure that the workplace is safe, as the environment is safe for them to work and thrive. So even as you try so much to maximize on the profit, you're also maximizing the sustainability of your business through empowering your workers, through enabling your workers to crack that work-life balance. When they go home, they are healthy. They are able to also be present as a mom, be present as a dad. Yeah.
So, Vivianne, we talk about OSH in workplaces, and one would say this is a requirement. But then again, how is the uptake of the same across the country? How are we faring?
Maybe before I answer that, I wanted to build on what she said, because there's a foundation that's been laid for health and safety in the country. Now, when it starts with the Kenyan Constitution, because if you look at Article 41 and 43, it does touch on fair labor practices, and then it also says that we as Kenyans have a right to a safe and healthy working environment. So the Kenyan Constitution already lays the foundation. Then, as Jeriah said, we have the Vision 2030. The Vision 2030 also say, we are working towards making Kenya an upper middle income economy, right? Country at the moment. Now, to do that, health and safety is essential to achieving that. Okay? Now, the Vision 2030 itself is also laying strategies for how we can achieve this. One of the things they're looking at is fair income for all Kenyans. We're also looking at full and productive employment. So the Vision 2030 also lays strategies that we can actually implement as a country to ensure we attain upper middle income, become an upper middle income country. But the one that goes into detail is the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 2007. Now, that is the act that now lays the responsibilities of the employer, responsibilities of the employee, and what the consequences are for non-compliance. Now, back to your question, asking about where we are. If I was to say we are doing well, we are doing badly, I would be unfair to the OSH profession. It's a steady progress. There are so many challenges that need urgent attention. We are making progress as a country. And remember, OSH is a collective responsibility. Jeriah has mentioned DOSH. DOSH is the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services. This is the regulator. Okay? DOSH does not work in isolation, in as much as it's doing an amazing job in the country at the moment. One of the things that is done, because remember, like rural electrification, we were trying to reach the hardest to reach communities, making sure that there's electricity in every Kenyan's household, okay? But what's happening, the same thing is happening with DOSH. We are trying to entrench OSH in all communities in the country, in all workplaces. And how has DOSH done that? DOSH has done that by ensuring that we have health and safety officers in all the 47 counties. Now, if we have 47 health and safety officers, that means people now have access to OSH knowledge. The other thing that they've done is to ensure that they've professionalized inspections, because that is what OSH does in the country, inspection of workplaces. If you come here to Standard Group, I am so sure you walk in at the reception, there's a green certificate. Have you guys seen it?
Okay.
There's a green certificate, so that shows that you as a workplace you've complied with all the requirements. So it's supposed to be in public display. So when I walk in, that's the first thing I'm supposed to see.
Okay.
So that's the first level of compliance. So I am
The
so
certificate.
sure. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm so sure SG is 100% compliant.
Just because you've seen the certificate?
because I saw it and it's up to date.
Okay.
Yes.
So what you're saying then is if there's a certificate that has been displayed, then one would imagine that there's certain things that you have done in order for you to display the certificate.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
And what are those things?
For example, I'll just jump in to assist with that. You have done audits. DOSH approves experts who are able to do professional audits for workplaces. They're coming in to see the status of occupational safety and health. They're coming to see fire safety, how prepared you are in case a fire occurs. Do you have fire extinguishers? Do you have trained teams? Yeah. Have you done first aid training for your teams? Yeah. Are your machines sound? Some workers tend to use machines that have, missing handle or loose handle, and that exposes them to injuries every day. So for you to really comply, then it means your machines are sound. They do not expose workers to risks of injury, risks of being crushed. Yeah, then your workplace is well ventilated. It's well lit. I mean, you can look at this studio. Yes, well ventilated, well lit. We're not struggling we have ergonomically suitable seats. We are not struggling to reach the microphone. So there are simple things that require you to be aware about and to continuously build on occupational safety and health. So for a workplace to attain that certificate, then it means there's something they have really done to make sure that the health and safety of workers who come to work every single day is well taken care of.
I think my question is towards the worst violators, because I once handled a case of a gentleman, a very young gentleman, 26 years old, and I didn't know all this back then. And what had happened, he was working in this steel factory, and how it is in Kenya because of the desperation to look for a job. So this is where you queue up at 6 in the morning. The first 15, 20 people are the ones who will now get in, do the job for the day. Tomorrow, the first 15 again. So you might end up not having the same people. And so here was a situation where this person is the quick induction. So this is the machine, this is what you do here. You press this button, when this happens, you do this. And in 10, 15 minutes, you're done. And people start working because they're earning 500 shillings a day at that time. So what ended up happening is he didn't have proper clothing. And he ended up, his nini was stuck in one of the machines. And when it was stuck, it fell. And so they didn't understand how to do first aid, number one. How do you rush this person to hospital? By the time the young man is getting to hospital, the doctors are asking, where was this thing left? So somebody had to quickly go back, look for where it dropped, put it on ice, go back to the hospital. And at the time, we were trying to follow up the case because even the young man didn't know about what he was expecting to receive, no demands, nothing. And what that story then, just zooming out of that story, is the worst violators, especially in the informal sector, because they form 80%. How are they regulated? Who follows up to ensure that they're up to standards, they are following the regulation, and who does the sensitization to those who are then queuing up that these are your rights, these are the questions you need to ask, and so on and so forth. Any of you can pick it up.
I mean, I think labor is very cheap in Kenya, like you said. You get hurt, you die. The next day, you're easily replaced. That's a country we're living in right now. The responsibility, whether informal or formal, lies with DOSH. DOSH is responsible for implementing the highest levels of health and safety standards in the country in all workplaces. Okay? But then we also have the WSPAK Act. Now the WSPAK Act comes into play when someone is injured or you're ill because of a condition in the workplace. Okay? Now, WSPAK is there to compensate, whether you're in the informal sector or you're in the formal sector. As I said, DOSH has also employed 47 health and safety officers. These are the individuals who are supposed to go to all these workplaces and ensure that they are attaining the highest level of compliance.
But 47 is like a drop.
Almost like one, yes.
Only 47?
Yes, and that is now. Remember, there was a time where we didn't have that number. So we have come a long way. That's why I started by saying it's steady progress, okay? And it's true. But we are making progress. Now we have the 47. That means we've improved as a country in terms of entrenching OSH in the country, and it's working. We still have a long way to go because one of the challenges, I think we'll talk about this later, one of the challenges that DOSH is facing or has been facing for a very long time is understaffing. They don't have enough people to reach each individual in the workplace or all workplaces in the country. Because look at the population of Kenya. How many workplaces do we have at the moment? If Kenya decided we were going to have a health and safety professional for every workplace we have in the country, that means that the DOSH department has to be supported financially. That is still not happening. We're not there yet. Yes.
Okay. When I think about health and safety at the office or at the workplace, I'm not just saying office because it could be anywhere. It's not just an office. It's a factory. From what you're saying, it's factory. It's anywhere where, as you had mentioned before, this work or this business takes place. The first thing that comes to mind, okay, is there a fire extinguisher there? Are there those signs like when people are mopping up whatever so that it doesn't slip and fall? Are those kind of things put up? But then also when we talk about compliance to these, is it just those brick and mortar things that we're talking about, or is there some subjective stuff as well when it comes to health and safety in the work environment?
Thank you for that. Now, maybe I'll start from what Dennis Okari gave us. He has given us a story that does not only affect the guy that he talked about, it is affecting people who are in small or micro and medium enterprises in Kenya. They lack information, they lack awareness, they lack preparedness, and we're looking at how simple safety is. It just starts from awareness. Do you know what is required? Far from just complying. When we talk about compliance, it almost looks like it's burden. There's a lot of cost attached to it, but starts from basic knowledge. Do you know how to safely operate that machine? Do you know how to safely handle the chemicals that you use every day? Yeah, in Kenya, it is a requirement. It's rather a right for every worker. They have a right to safety and health. Under the International Labour Organization, it was declared that it's a right for workers to occupational safety and health. It's a fundamental right. It's the 5th fundamental right. So everyone, whether you have one employee or whether you have 1,000 employees, they have a right to safety and health. It goes beyond just complying. It goes beyond just providing PPE, for example. Have you empowered them to know exactly what to do, even with those hazards? Have you talked to them? Have you put mechanisms in place so that before that accident happens, they really know how to prevent it? Because we are also looking at the sustainable business. I would like to talk to employers. Maybe some of you seated here today are employers. What have you done at personal level to provide basic knowledge? Have you really explained to that employee of yours what their roles are? Have you talked to them about safety and health, about training, about fire, what they can do in case they spotted a fire? It starts from your own home. What have you done to empower your nanny, your house help? Yeah, what have you done to talk to them about basic bans, what they need to do? Because it starts from there. Yeah, so far from just compliance, we are looking at achieving more than compliance, more than having that paper, more than showing us that you have done all the audits you've done, all the inspection. What about the mental health of these workers? Yeah, they're going to work from home. They're going to complete the work at home. So then it means they're not able to crack that work-life balance.
So there is the aspect of compliance that you just addressed, but then there is the aspect of there is all these that businesses know they ought to do, but for one reason or the other, one chooses not to, simply because they can beat the system. They know someone in these high offices, but just in terms of if you don't do this, then what? So that then what question is what I'm asking. For those that do not meet the requirements, right? What are we looking at? What does that mean to the overall safety of workers in the country? And what does then the penalties mean, or what kind of penalties are we looking at?
Okay, so the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 2007 really outlines what the consequences are for non-compliance, okay? So if you are, as an employer, say your responsibility is to do a risk assessment. So you guys come here at 4 a.m. in the morning. So SG factors in you traveling on the road very early in the morning. There are certain risks that you're exposed to, okay, when you're getting here. So that is a risk assessment that they're supposed to have done. That is a legal requirement. And you as an employee, you should have been involved in that risk assessment. You should know the contents of that risk assessment.
What does it look like?
So basically, you are identifying a hazard. So a hazard is anything that has the potential to cause harm to you.
Give us an example of what that would be.
So let's look at you traveling here. I don't know if it's you use company cars or you use personal cars.
Both.
So let's look at the road. What is likely to cause harm to you on your way here?
When they're doing this construction here on the road that they didn't tell anybody about, but then they...
Now that's a hazard.
Okay.
That has the potential to cause harm. What else?
Poor street lighting.
Perfect. That's a hazard. It has the potential to cause harm. Now from that, then now you rate that, you identify the risk and then you rate it. Okay? Then now as a collective, you come up with mitigation measures. What can we do to ensure that Dennis gets here safe and sound? Has SG done that? Are you aware that it has? That is a responsibility of the employer. Now, if the employer fails to do that, there are consequences in that act. It's very clear. Jail time or money.
For who?
For the employer. Now, this is the catch. They look for negligence. Is it on the part of the employee or is it on the part of the employer? Remember, there's an investigation that is done before all this comes into effect.
So an employee can take the employer to court.
Yes.
And say, my employer didn't notify me or tell me or inform me of these hazards on my way to work.
Yes.
And therefore, I'm suing them?
Yes. And then the other thing is say Dennis Okari gets, I'm not saying this is going to happen, Dennis. If Dennis does get involved in an accident and say it's fatal or it's a life-changing injury where you end up in a wheelchair, okay? Now, if SG chooses not to report this to DOSH, okay, you as Dennis can do that. Remember, now they've gone digital. Everything has been transferred to the DOSH system or platform. Now you can just go there and access the platform and report your injury. And
that I was injured on my way to work.
Yes. And the DOSH now will pick it up from there.
Okay.
And pursue it until you're...
7% of the folks who have the green certificate. And they're assuming that we see the green certificate. So that means these processes have been done. How many people have the green certificate but have not actually done the thing?
Let me respond to that. Okay, it's not possible for people to just have the certificate having done nothing. Yeah, because it's not a kind of paper that you go to an office and you're given. Yeah, you must show proof that you've actually created a safe working environment for workers. You have safe machines. If it's chemicals that you are storing, you have identified which kind of chemicals you're storing. If they are hazardous chemicals, do you have measures in place for safe handling, for safe storage? Have you communicated this to employees? Have they been trained on safe handling of chemicals. So there's a lot that goes into play before you have the certificate. So in Kenya, as it is now, it's impossible to have the certificate having done nothing really. Thank you.
In fact, maybe if I could add to that, there's a section. Remember, in every workplace, you have to undergo medical assessments. You have to provide proof that this is the DHP, we call them DHPs, who performed or who conducted the medical assessments. So what if they were doing a background check or, just the due diligence on their part, then they would just have to call that DHP and just find out, was this actually done? So again, it's a risk for anyone who appends a signature to the document saying, I did the medical assessments. This was actually done, and in reality it wasn't. Because again, as we said before, there are consequences. Okay, so as Jeriah said, at the moment it's impossible to fake that document or to buy your way. Yes.
Okay, so as is often the practice, that I will comply and do everything that I need to do to make sure that I do have that certificate. So you can walk into the office, as you've seen, and then you can see it and you can say, okay, these guys have gotten all their ducks in a row, they're doing the thing right. But as we know, beyond that, it is maintaining of those standards and engaging in those activities that keeps your status, which is the conversation that we're having today, the status of it. So do we have folks who continue in compliance, not for the certificate, but in the activities that they should be engaged in going forward? So that if you're in a factory and somebody doesn't know how to use a machine and you're hiring somebody, that OSH certificate, kind of like the monkey on your shoulder saying, look guys, have you actually made sure that this is happening? Do we have the signage up when we're cleaning the floor? Do we have extinguishers where they need to be? Do the folks who are pushing these OSH activities actually know what they're doing? So how can we see now not just compliance, but the continuance of compliance? How does that look like?
Can I respond?
Yeah.
Very well.
You don't have to whisper.
Very well. Thank you to that question. Is there anyone who ensures there's continuous compliance? Now, apart from me being a human advocate, I'm also Secretary General for the Workplace Safety Professionals Association of Kenya. This association is made up of professionals in the occupational safety and health field. Some of the professionals we have are occupational safety auditors, we have noise monitors, we have air quality professionals who do air quality measurements for workplaces that have air risks. We have fire safety auditors, or all of them are approved by DOSH. Now, under the requirements of compliance, to ensure that compliance is not done once, it's a requirement that every workplace conducts these audits every year. It's annual. So there's annual requirement for every workplace to ensure that audits are done. Far from audits, there are those inspections that are required. Yeah. So the trained team on the ground, they're able to do basic inspections to the machines. They're able to identify hazards, and they're able to report that. So when the auditors are coming, they're looking at the records. Yeah, if you say you have an occupational safety committee in place, what have they been doing? Do we have minutes that prove that they actually meet? When they did the last inspection, do we have records? What did they find out? Is there a system for these people to actually report hazards? Because it's not just a workplace having the certificate that we have trained, but how empowered are these people on the ground? Are they able to spot? Have they spotted any? After spotting a hazard or after an incident happened, did they do investigation? Was the investigation recorded? Yeah, so there's a lot. And another thing that enables continuous compliance is where you're selling the product. Yeah, the market often commands how you are carrying out your activity. And now today we're talking about employers. How do they ensure that they stay in business? Occupational safety forms core, among other things, reasons as to why you should invest, on safety and health. So when you invest, it's not a one kind of thing. And as we said earlier, it's not a one-person kind of thing. It's not about the employer. It's a collective effort. And it's something that is done every single day, every single moment. Yes.
You said OSH is critical in how businesses maintain sustainability of the same,
Yes.
because then again there is all the clearances that one has to go through.
Yes.
And you read that together with the national goals that the country has in making sure that workspaces are safe.
Yes.
And here then comes a conference that is going to be taking place, AfriSafe conference. And just what are we talking about with regard to these conferences and the awards that will be coming into place? Are we looking at the best players in the industry? We're looking at how best to improve on this situation. You
Yes.
talk about AfriSafe. Is it about the continent, perhaps?
Thank you for that. Now, as I said, I'm Secretary General for Workplace Safety Professionals Association of Kenya. These are registered non-profit association that brings together occupational safety and health enthusiasts in Kenya and globally. Now, WSPAK, in short, runs conferences every single year. Last year, we had a successful conference. This year, we've organized another conference that is going to happen in Pride Inn on the 13th and 14th of November. All of you are invited. People listening to me who are...
Pride in Nairobi?
Pride in Mombasa.
Mombasa, okay.
Yes. People are listening and they are interested in safety. They are interested in learning more. Students are all welcome. Now, why do we bring conferences? Now, looking at the kind of theme that we have this year is United Africa. United Africa for Safety. So we are looking at the common safety hazards that we encounter. It's not a Kenya problem. It's not a Uganda problem. But these are common things that challenge safety. They challenge businesses in Kenya. So when we have conferences, it forms a platform where professionals, experts, governments, employers come together to share knowledge. They come together to network. They also come together for updates on the current trends in safety and health. Yes.
I'm curious, why Mombasa? Sorry. Why Mombasa? Why not Nairobi?
I mean, have you guys been to Mombasa?
Yeah,
Yes.
many times.
Beautiful coastal city.
We go to Mombasa for vacation.
What's stuck?
Relax.
The last time in Mombasa?
The ocean is beautiful.
In the ocean.
Yeah.
What is the leading attraction? What brings people from around the world to Kenya? What do they come to see?
Culture. Animals.
Enjoy our
White-
sandy
it's
beaches.
a white sands.
Yes.
It's the ocean. Okay, it's the weather, it's the humidity, even though some of us complain, but that is what attracts people. Now, remember the people we are attracting, some of them are from landlocked countries. Very sad, I know, but they are from landlocked countries, so this is an opportunity for them to experience what we, only Kenyans, can offer them. The sandy beaches. Okay. But then also, remember when we're talking about OSH professionals work in very traumatizing environments. Sometimes we're witnessing a fatality. Sometimes we're witnessing someone's life changing just in front of your eyes. Okay. Now, we are taking them away from these environments, allowing them to switch off, even if it's just for those 2 days, to enjoy time away from their traumatizing work environments, an opportunity to reconnect with themselves, an opportunity to also reconnect with other OSH professionals. This is what we are bringing to the continent. But the other thing I also wanted to add to that is it's also good for business. Because I want you to imagine the number of people who are going to come to Mombasa November 13th and 14th. It's a big number. Last year it was around 35,000. That is because we are collaborating with AfriSafe. This is the whole of Africa. All OSH professionals on the continent are convening in Mombasa. That's huge for us, for Mombasa's, the economy of Mombasa. Okay? So that's what you're doing for Mombasa. The other thing I wanted to say, maybe to add to Jeriah's point, is there's so much money. Investors have money and they want to invest in investable projects in Africa. And I want to tie this to our theme, which is United for a Safer Africa. Okay? There's money. They're looking for investable projects to fund.
So what opportunities are there?
Exactly. Now, the catch here is our employers prioritizing the safety, the health, and well-being of employees. Because right now, we're not just looking at just any other business. We're also looking at businesses that are prioritizing Denise's health and safety. If you're that employer, if you're that business, then that money is targeting you. That money comes to you. So that is the message you're trying to convey. OSH is good for business. Good OSH means good business. Bad OSH means
So
The
how
exact
relevant?
opposite.
Okay.
How relevant is this year's theme to Kenya's OSH ecosystem?
Thank you for that. Now, this year we are collaborating with AfriSafe. AfriSafe is one of the biggest awards system in Africa. They're based in Nigeria. Now, what this partnership brings to Kenya is to really, when you get that award, what have you done? Yeah, have you impacted people? Yeah, looking at the situation in Kenya, there are far too many reported accidents that were never compensated, that were never reported. Yeah, this kind of partnership is not coming to just be on paper. It's coming to reward those who have really gone out of the way to promote safety and health for people in Kenya, for workplaces in Kenya. Now, let's look at this perspective. How expensive then is it if people are not complying? It's, we are looking at the legal bit of it. It's expensive because if you're not enshrining safety and health in your business, somebody could get hurt. Now, the process of, ensuring that that is reported, that is compensated, is very lengthy. We are also looking at what that impact brings to the business. Sometimes you are really fighting hard to maintain the good reputation that you have for your business because you want to remain in business. So if somebody gets hurt today in your company, then it means there's something that you're not doing. You are exposing workers to accidents. We are also looking at the colleagues, the downtime. Yeah, those things are very expensive. If you lose good talent today, it may take you several years to again retrain another person to achieve the same talent that you lost through an illness or through an injury. So such knowledge is being shared when we have our conferences. So it's big for businesses, it's big for employers, it's big for employees, and even students as well. Yes.
I think
Go ahead.
I think maybe one of the things we said when we were making the introductions was that we have one of the most detailed legal frameworks around OSH. Okay, now some African countries don't have this, so I'm here to brag and say maybe this is an opportunity for Kenya to share. How far we've come, what we've done, what is working for us, and what is not working, so that they don't have to start from scratch.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would an employee, whether it's somebody in a work environment, feel safe even with OSH policies in place? There's the policy on here, but how do I actually feel that this has been imbibed and I'm actually in an environment that is adhering to the guidelines and standards and that I'm actually safe in the environment in which I'm working? How would I know that I'm there?
Wow. I like the way you asked, how will an employee feel? Because safety is also about experiences. How do they actually feel? So then it tells you it's more than just having a policy displayed on a notice board. Yeah, how do they feel with the responsibilities you placed in them? Are you putting a lot of demand, a lot of target to be achieved? Maybe it's work that could have been completed in 3 days. Today you are telling them to complete that work in 1 day. Yeah, then it puts them in pressure to sometime overlook safety features, to sometime overrun the safety, whatever the safety policy says. Because if safety policy says that before you access these chemical store, which is having chemicals that are hazardous, you need to be in full PPE, for example. But now you've put a target that is unrealistic to them. Then what does that make them feel? That you only have a policy and you really don't care about how they are going to achieve the target that you've put on them. So for the employees to actually feel safe, it goes beyond just having the policy.
Yeah.
It involves them. Let them participate during policy revision, or let them participate during policy formation. Because sometimes you just develop rules and give people, it feels like you've imposed something, some requirement for them to just do for you. But safety is not for the supervisor. Safety is not for the employer. Safety is for everyone, to ensure that they come to work in the morning safe and they go back safe, physically, mentally, socially wholesome.
Fantastic. Really quickly, in 10 seconds, as we come to the top of the hour, we just want to say thank you to both of you for joining us this morning to talk about this important stuff for us to know and to be able to understand. Jeriah Moraa is a human capital advocate, and Vivianne Boaz, the Vice Chairperson of WSPAK, talking about the status of OSH in the country. Asante sana.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.